AI now, and that's something we've been banging on a bit about this year. But I thought we, maybe take a slightly more optimistic view here and its potential uses in healthcare. And obviously there have been some stories. It's not just the ones that we were looking at today, but I saw a report the other day about using AI tools to track cancer cells and their development, etc. And then it kind of got me thinking about, yeah, that kind of makes sense in the sense of if AI is at its best when it's working with big data sets, that's throwing it at a problem like a disease or a cancer or something like that, you could potentially see that it could be actually quite useful in that regard, because it could track what's going on, in effect, almost like from a data point of view, which is very interesting.
Oh, yeah. AI is amazing in how it can help us find cures and help us understand diseases. I think one of the things, if you think about how the receptor system works in biology, which is the activation of a cell, whether it's to promote a growth in the cell or to kill the cell, you require very specific folding of proteins effectively to create that. And so, or you need factors that are a particular shape or have a particular active area. So without going into this in too much detail, there are so many different combinations that this, you could be choosing one of a million potential compounds as a cure. AI will not be able to predict the exactly correct compound, for instance, or its chemical makeup, but it will give you an insight, and it will shrink that from 100,000 maybe to 10,000 or 5,000 compounds, or a family of compounds. And so it can help you, or can help the scientists really narrow down what they should be looking at. And this will bring great benefit and advances in medicine in the next 10 years.
One thing that I find interesting with this too is that I know we've spoken before about we're looking potentially at significant advances in medicine in the coming decades, etc. We've spoken about that on past podcasts, but what interested me is that this is like another point of view of what's going to get us there. That using this technology to be able to do that is not something, I know that obviously my head's not in medicine, but it wouldn't have occurred to me back then that might have been an option. And it's quite interesting that it's like throwing all the tools at it. You would think with medical advances it's more research and actual scientific study or whatever, which will still go on, but deploying in effect like an AI algorithm on something is quite interesting as another tool in the arsenal for that.
Yeah, look, to be quite honest, ChatGPT, Gemini, and most of the AI agents that exist today, the large language models, you can argue that their use case is really information. It's basically just a very sophisticated, if you like, Google search. But the real power of AI is being able to, when there are a million or a billion choices for a potential solution, AI can help us narrow that down so that the work that scientists do becomes a lot more targeted, and therefore the success would come a lot more quickly. There's still a lot of luck involved, and certainly the models and agents that we're using for everything from theoretical physics to find particles, to find ways to create fusion energy, to find ways to bring about new medical interventions are still very, I guess they're not very old in terms of the computing power that's now unlocked for these AI functions, but it's setting us on a path where, if you've ever wondered how would we ever become like a Star Trek civilization, well, it would be off the back of these tools.
And it also occurs to me, obviously, the importance in this case of human oversight and judgment, because, it's a great tool, but you still need someone there who, from a human perspective, that can actually, feel that, take that last step for the whatever you want to call it, the defining the treatment, whatever it happens to be.
Totally. I mean, I think this is what people have to remember, that it's not just important for humans to be there, to be in control or to have oversight, and that is important, but human ingenuity, human imagination, and human creativity are things that AI cannot generate in a moment to solve a problem. You know, it can look back and see what the best solution was in the past, but when we require something that's new, novel, and out of the box, only a human can provide that. And all of us as humans should be working harder now to be creative and collaborative, because that's how we really harness the benefits of AI.